If you're buying an Albury Wodonga from interstate, there's one mistake that can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and it won't show up in photos or suburb stats. I've lived here for 35 years and I show you how locals spot it fast. Photos are the most expensive line property. If you're buying from interstate, you can miss one small detail and we're a $50,000 surprise. Here's the 4-step check we personally use before we buy anything for our clients. Stop trusting suburb medians. They hide the bad streets. I've lived on the border now over 35 years and I've purchased more than a dozen properties over the past 12 months for clients. I show you how to pick the right pocket and avoid the ones renters avoid. Most people buy here by the same way they buy anywhere. They look at photos, they look at suburb stats, they talk to the selling agents, then they hope. Hope isn't a plan. One bad buy could cost you years and years. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the simple 4-step system we personally use to help interstate buyers do two things: buy in the right pocket and pay the right price, so you don't end up with a regret property later on. My name's Shannon Stewart and I'm a local buyer's agent and property matchmaker right here in Albury Wodonga. I've lived here now for over 35 years and I know these streets like the back of my hand. I also purchased more than a dozen properties over the last 12 months, so I don't just talk about investing, I do it. And I have more than 30 5-star reviews across Google, Facebook and other sites. You can check them out for yourself. Whether you work with me or not, I'm going to show you the exact method we personally use so you can stop guessing. Let's be honest, most investors think they're doing the right checks. They scroll listings online, they compare asking prices, they look at median growth, they call the agent and they say things like, we'll do the building and pest inspection later. But here's the truth. Problem 1, the selling agent doesn't protect you. They work for the seller. Their job is to get the best possible deal for their client. It's not to stop you from overpaying, and it's not to warn you against a bad street. Problem 2, suburb stats hide the real story. One suburb can look great online, but one pocket inside the pocket can be dead. There's less demand, more trouble, they're harder to rent and harder to sell. Problem 3, photos lie, and when you're interstate you can't feel the street. Photos don't show noise, traffic, bad access, a weird block, a flood zone, power easements, bad neighbours, or a street that looks fine but renters avoid. And the penalty's brutal. You get vacancies you didn't plan for, you get repair bills you didn't see coming, and you get tenant issues you didn't expect. And later, when the market tightens, you can't sell without dropping your price. I hear the same line from interstate buyers all the time. I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know who I should trust. That's how people end up stuck with a regret property. And once you own it, it's too late. After seeing this happen again and again, we built a simple buy-side method so you don't rely on luck, you don't rely on the selling agents, and you don't rely on pretty photos online. Because hoping a street's good isn't a plan. We call this system the Albury Wodonga Buyer Advantage. It's built to do two things: protect you from the wrong pockets and protect you from the wrong price. Here's how it works. Step 1 is all about pocket filter. This is street by street, not suburb by suburb. We look for the streets renters want and the streets renters avoid, so you don't buy the cheap property that stays empty. Step 2 is the risk sweep. This is where we hunt for traps that crush demand and resale, like flood and fire areas, social housing, easements, bad access, noise, odd zoning, and hidden limits most buyers miss. This is so you don't find out after you're in too deep, after you've spent money, and after you've lost valuable time. We use tools like Price Finder, RP Data, and Stash BA for overlay checks and to spot risks early. And just a quick note, we're not your lawyer. Any legal advice goes through your conveyancer or your solicitor, but we do flag risk early so nothing blindsides you. Step 3 is price context. This is how you stop guessing. You're not buying based on what they want, you buy based on what the market has proven. We pull real comparable sales, same street where we can, same pocket, same type of home, so you don't donate $50,000, $60,000 or $80,000 to the seller for no reason. Step 4 is calm negotiation. This is where most buyers lose their head. They rush, they chase, they bid against themselves. We don't do that. We build an offer the seller can say yes to, with price plus terms, timing, conditions, and certainty. Because there's not always the highest number that wins. Often, it's the cleanest offer with the right terms and conditions, so you get a deal done without a price war. Now let me prove this with some real examples. Proof 1. A Melbourne investor found a home listed at $845,000 and he was ready to move fast. We ran price context. Comparable sales on the same street supported around $770,000 to $782,000. We made a calm offer with evidence and the seller accepted $783,000. That's a $62,000 saving, not by being rude and not by lowballing the vendor, but by being informed. Proof 2. Online, the home looked clean. On site, one boundary fence was falling over. Now, you wouldn't have seen this in the photos. We made the vendor replace the full fence before we moved forward, and if not, we would have renegotiated. That's the kind of small miss that becomes a $7,000 surprise. Proof 3. Buying the right asset in the right pocket with the right context. Now, I can't promise future growth. Markets move. But this is what can happen when you buy with proper due diligence and price discipline. Proof 4. Winning with terms. We've won deals where other buyers offered more money, but the vendor chose our buyer because the offer was cleaner, with better timing, fewer headaches, and more certainty. At this point, you might be thinking, can't I just do this myself? Yes, if you're local, if you know the streets, and if you know the pockets to avoid, if you know what to check, and if you have time to inspect and verify everything. But if you're interstate, here's the risk. You're making a six-figure choice with missing information. You might also think, why do you push me just to buy so you can get paid? No, we play the long game. We would rather tell you not to buy than help you buy the wrong property. You might also think, what if I'm not ready? Then you need some clarity now, because when the right deal shows up, speed matters. And speed without clarity is how people get burned. So here's what to do next if you want to apply this to your exact plan. We run a free call called the Buyer Advantage Blueprint Session. On this call, we build your buying plan based on your budget, your timeline, and what you want from the property. By the end of the session, you'll walk away with your buy box, so you know what fits and what doesn't. You get a pocket shortlist, so you know where to buy and what to avoid. You get a risk map, so you know what can kill demand and resale. You get a price context range, so you stop guessing and you stop overpaying. And you get a next step action plan, so if the right deal shows up this week, you know what to do. And you also get these bonuses, the Interstate Investor Due Diligence Checklist, so you don't miss key steps. You get our offer terms cheat sheet, so you can beat higher offers with cleaner terms and conditions. And you get the pocket red flags map, so you know what patterns we avoid. The Blueprint Strategy Session's free, there's no pressure, and if you want to do it yourself, you can still use the plan. Here's the guarantee on the session. If you don't leave the call with a clear pocket shortlist, a risk map, and price context, I'll personally email you out our checklist pack after the call, so you still walk away with value. There's no stress, there's no awkwardness. Now, real talk on spots. We're very hands-on. We shortlist, we inspect, we do all the checks, we negotiate, we do all the groundwork. So we cap the number of active buyers we take on at any one time to 4 clients, 4 deals. That's it. If we're full, you go on our wait list and we work through it in order. So if you're serious about buying an investment property in Albury-Wodonga and you don't want to buy blind, click below now and book your free Buyer Advantage Blueprint session. We'll map your pockets, your risks, and your price range, so you can buy calm and confident. Click below now and I'll see you on the call.